Hello, welcome back to me, the new guy 4, playing Rise of Nations, Thrones and Patriots, Conquering the World, better than the Incas, as you know. This is, we just, as you joined us from last time, we just finished taking out the Italians, which was hard work, very little, well, it was quite pleasurable, I suppose. I enjoyed myself, but there wasn't really much gain to be had from itself. You can see what I've actually picked up is a territory with a strength 1 and provides nothing. No supply wagon, sorry, supply centre, no tributes, no rare resources, no cards, apart from the Roman oath of fealty. It's just one barren wasteland, really, Italy. It's not in real life. I went for some very nice family holidays there. It's a lovely country, but in this game, there's not much going for it. So we're going to move on now to attack Greece, and you can see now that we've got that one out of the way, the options become a little more fruitful. Once I take Greece, if I take Greece out, I can then either take on the Turks and take this nice bit of the Middle East here, right down to here, and I can take out the Bantu and have the entirety of Africa under my control, or I can take out the Germans and get to the Alps as well, and then take out the Dutch and get Scandinavia, which has some very nice rare resources. Maze, I don't know what ramp up units means, but whatever it is, it's reduced by 50%, so fallow, papyrus, which is very nice, reduces the cost of science by 25%, so if I was to take out the Germans and the Dutch, oh wait, no, if I just take out the Greeks and then the Dutch, but I'll have to take the Germans out to get to the Dutch, I'll get some furs, make my research 25% cheaper, and my science 25% cheaper. So that's two branches of the tech tree that are just cheaper for me. There are, I think it's spices, maybe not spices. Silks make commerce 25% cheaper, and what's left? I think it's dyes make civics 25% cheaper. So if you get all four of them, you get very cheap research. Anyway, that's quite enough for that. I'm sure you just tuned into the action, or maybe you didn't tune in at all. War with the Greeks, smashing. And because it's only a 2, I'm going to risk it. That's a 3. Crikey, maybe I shouldn't have risked it. I'll save my cards for a tougher battle, because I'm quite getting the hang of this now. It was a sound on when I was talking just now. I mean, I assumed you could hear me, but was there any music playing in the background? Because I realised I think I had my thing muted, but I didn't know if that affects the recording. I'll find out once I've made this, but in the meantime, I'm not going back and changing it. It's just a degree of courtesy to ask in the first place, I suppose. So here they are. They've got some reinforcements, plus they're slightly stronger. But I've got 4 rare resources just to help me out. And also, I'm awesome. And if you've watched any previous videos of this, you'll know that that's patently not true. So anyway, let's see what's done. What are the flaws I would suppose offer of this? It's quite formulaic after a while. What changes is that you eventually head up the ages, and the weapons get more or less advanced, well, get more advanced. But it's largely the same thing. You build the same buildings, with the same citizens, in the same order. As you get more and more rare resources, you don't have to build quite so many buildings to get your economy up and running. So that's always good. But it is always a case of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. What I would have liked is if it would have saved at a certain extent that you'd built up your territory. So if I'd have sort of maybe started off with a couple of cities in Rome, being as I actually conquered it off of the capital city in itself. Because even if you attack from a size 8 territory of your own, you will always start with this setup. And it gets quite repetitive, and it doesn't seem particularly realistic. I mean, just because you're on the attack, does that mean all of your buildings disappear? Well, maybe it's a game balance thing, unless you just stop complaining and play the damn game. Which is actually what I'm going to do, now that I think about it. Oh, population never reached that quick. And I suppose not much to talk about. There's Italy. We'll have a lot less land than we did beforehand. The Greeks will have all of this to play around with. But what is useful to know is I'm already ahead of... Oh, I was going to say, I'm already ahead of score. If I'm going to jinx things like that in the future, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. No, I wouldn't do that to you other people. Or maybe, no, I don't know. It's rather presumption of me to assume that you would want to just hear my dulcet tones. This is the third time I've referred to my commentaries in this one as dulcet tones in that vaguely sarcastic way. Ironic rather. Disingenuous manner. I think I might have some self-esteem issues, but only in a comedic sense. Let's not get serious about this now. But not even that, just in a way of something to say, I suppose. give yourself a problem of some kind to talk about. Just to avoid awkward silences. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I'm actually, I think, on something of a caffeine high now, so I'm drinking a beer and doing a lot of talking to a Let's Play to try and calm my nerves a bit before tempted to go to bed. I mean, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not particularly tired at all. Well, that's a contradictory statement, either not tired at all, or I'm yeah, just a little bit tired. Smashing. But one thing I've learned is I don't deal very well with caffeine, like, at all. I had some couple of strong cups of coffee, bad coffee as well, from Aldi, which, if you don't know, because there's a fairly high chance that you won't know. I don't know. It's a supermarket chain that's fairly multinational in character. It's a rather cheap supermarket of German origin, but that doesn't mean it's cheap. And by the two brothers that own it are actually on the top 10 rich list, I think. Well, certainly the top 20 richest. They're brothers. One of them owns Aldi Nord, Aldi Sud. Aldi's the name of the store, of course, and it's great, but it is kind of how shall we say, lower market, like ideal for student shopping, or if you're not particularly bothered about your branded products. You do get brands, but they're weird continental brands that you wouldn't otherwise have heard of. Let's have Mars bars. You have Titan bars, for instance, and the coffee. I can't remember. Yeah, the coffee was called from a company called Alcaf. But anyway, it's rather cheap and rotten stuff. not literally. Well, literally cheap, but not literally rotten, because that would go against some kind of food standards agency, I suppose. And I think I put a bit too much in the flask, and now I just feel a bit jittery. It's 5 o'clock yesterday, it's now 1 o'clock in the morning. I still feel a bit jittery, so there must have been an awful lot of caffeine in there. So yeah, while I wait to come down off this caffeine high, I'll exert myself mentally and a little bit physically, and conversationally, by doing a Let's Play. And you, dear viewer, are the lucky recipients of this misfortune of mine, self-inflicted misfortune of mine. I was playing caffeinated more often and doing great. Yeah, 1,000 over 800, and this is a capital province. They started on a size 3. All I started with was 4 extra rare resources. That's alright, I suppose. Chips and reduced all costs by 10%, that's pretty good. Wow, on Science 3 already. That is cheap. 4 have even built the second city. What gives? And the commerce limit is 160, which I'm nowhere near. And now you can build a smelter to do so. Oh, you're researching, you haven't researched it yet. I had to press an H key and wondering, yes, could I play with the hotkeys? Not just on the hotkeys, but on the hotkeys on a Dvorak keyboard, as opposed to a QWERTY keyboard. Because that's just how well I've learnt the game. I used to play it quite a lot last year with housemates. Connects up to connects up to a LAN network, and it would be the geekiest thing, one of the geekiest things you can do, but an awful lot of fun. So I learned the hotkeys, and I learned the hotkeys again on the Dvorak keyboard, because the Dvorak keyboard is one. I decided to learn one last summer because bored. I didn't have a chance to do much last summer. So what I did do was rearrange my. I learned to touch type, but I thought because I'm quite eccentric, rather than just learn to touch type. Look at that! Just walk straight into my capital. He knows exactly where I am now. Well, he could have guessed, I suppose. But he couldn't have done because he's not human. You just can't make those kind of analyses, can I? Anyway, so yeah, I was saying, because I'm vaguely eccentric and I had lots of time on my hands, I wanted to learn to touch type. I thought, why not learn to touch type with the Dvorak keyboard? Because I've heard interesting things about it, and oh my god. Right. Then everyone who isn't a heavy archer, run over here. And then that barracks produce some heavy archers. And I thought I was doing so well as well. Bonbon can carry on with the things. What I realised was I wasn't referring to city names quite as often as I probably should have done. I tend to describe these games in quite a technical sense, I suppose. I don't treat them like in the narrative sense of the gameplay. I don't deal with the narrative, the storyline. I'd be really sure something like Final Fantasy VII, because that's one of the best things about that, is its storyline, the narrative. And if I just talk about the actual gameplay content of it, it seems a bit of a waste. Now, has he got a trebuchet? Yeah. Oh, that's just unkind. No, he hasn't. So, Let them go if they dare. Really, you're going to hold both my cities to ransom? No, he's just going to take the weaker one. I'm under attack by Pericles. Also, I don't have a nutrition tech. Let's even learn them over to Rome. They're just attacking farms at the minute. Oh, if I remember this map, you don't need a ship to cross it because that's connected up there, like it is in real life, of course. But I realised that they might have cut the map off before you get to the top of the Adriatic. And I'm quite concerned that they're going to take that. And that would be a very bad situation. I suppose they figure that their forces are fairly safe because of not really cavalry yet and no stables. Well, I'll try my best to fight them off. But what a rush tactic. I was too busy talking about Linna's Dvorak keyboard, and next thing you know I'm being invaded. Expertly done by the computer, I'd say. I don't know why I sent all my citizens back to work, it's not over yet. But really, bravo. That's, my troops did nothing. Well, if you've got the question, what did they actually achieve, apart from slowing me down a little bit, I suppose. There we go. Okay, everyone back to work. So I know this game so well that I've learned the hotkeys is what I was saying, and I know the hotkeys on the Dvorak keyboard because I was told. I don't know what I was told. It was just an alternative, and I thought, why not try the alternative? Because I hear that initially there was a choice between the two, and the reason we still use the QWERTY keyboard dates back to the time when we used typewriters. They are marginally faster on typewriters because the position of the keys means that the hammers on the typewriter don't get stuck and require don't get caught enough to typists spend time on catching them. However, in the modern day and age of proper computers, sticking keys aren't a problem. So, but because we're all used to using the QWERTY keyboard, and it would be expensive to learn to retrain typists, or it'd at least be a wasted sort of cost, sort of productivity. Who just carried on using it because that's what the typists at the time knew. And the loss in productivity, there didn't seem to be much of a point. So it might be that the Dvorak keyboard is slightly faster. Having said that, those studies being done with some US Navy studies that were headed by Dvorak himself. Not to be confused with the Czech composer Antonin Dvořák, same spelling, different pronunciation. I think it was Czech. I used to think it was Hungarian, and I actually went to Prague and saw a statue of him. Thought that's a strange place to have a composer, a statue of a Hungarian composer who wasn't. So yeah, it's actually Czech. So I've heard his works if you played Civilization 4 and you watched the Industrial Age, or you were alive in the 1990s in Great Britain and watched the Hovis adverts, New World Symphony, the famous one. In fact, if it wouldn't get me in trouble with some copyright laws, I probably might dub it over on Here and Now. Well, then maybe not, because this game has its own music. But yeah, the US Navy trials for the Dvorak keyboard arrangements were headed by Dvorak himself, so their partiality is somewhat disputed. And that's something on this side. What you could argue, though, is that in terms of ergonomics, it's a lot better because most of the typing that you do is on the home row. All the vowels are on the left-hand side, and all the common consonants are on the right-hand side, and the rarer the consonant, the further away it is, and it reduces the amount of crossing over that your fingers have to do to get to the most common keyboard arrangements. So there is a sort of ergonomic argument there. How strong it is in reality, I'm not too sure. I'm going to say I don't. I'm never sure about these kind of things. But I thought, just to be a bit different, why not? I'm surprisingly advanced, considering I don't feel quite very economically strong here. Because I'm having to buy all of my resources. Okay, rather than building a new city, why don't I spend time actually building up the cities that I've already got? No, never mind. Sorry if I've been slightly absent from my channel for a past week or so. Not that I'm sure anybody's noticed. I'm not kidding anybody. I'm not the most watched channel on YouTube. Let's put it that way. Plus, I don't particularly update my, not particularly regular with my channel updates. But I've had a tremendous cold over the past week, which is a shame because it's reading week, and I was hoping to get lots of work done. And, you know, actually get lots of work done. Not that kind of, oh, I'll get lots of work done and end up going home and just enjoying a half-term week. I mean, actually getting lots of work done, a dissertation to write and various things to catch up with. And I've just been feeling awful. You know, like you wake up in the morning, like you got that hangover. I get a headache from moving too quickly. It's like I've not done anything. That's been rather unfair. I've not been able to look at the computer screen for particularly long, for any productive purposes. Not been able to think straight. Not been able to do anything like that. And I've only just managed to get some productivity back. So much for my grand week of catching up, and, you know, intellectual inquiry. And I'm going to be quite behind for the rest of this term. Basically. But more importantly, I mean, because I've had a sore throat and horrible grotty sort of. I mean, last video I sneezed at the end of it. That was awful. I apologise for that. I should have done something to edit it out or something. But I didn't. For that I apologise. But it just got worse from there. I was bored and just coughing and sneezing. It was all sorts of grottiness. Which I'm sure you want to know. That's really what you tune into YouTube to find out about. So I'll leave my health concerns alone for the time being. I don't know, unless you want to know. Let me know in the comments if you want to know how I'm feeling. I know this actually sounds, it could be construed as being a bit passive aggressive. That put some comments in if you want to know how I'm feeling. But it's not like that at all. I imagine being as is, you know, the fairly atomised nature of modern society of its own, and particularly that of the internet, it's a uncaring, unfeeling kind of place. Oh, I've already got one. Okay. Okay, the early attack really shook my confidence. I mean, they've not launched another one since. It might have something to do with the fact that he's actually a Greek. Something like civilization, Greeks tend to be an aggressive civilization. According to the original Civilization 1, back in the old 1990s affair, they and the Mongols were the most aggressive civilizations who would pursue conquest at the expense of absolutely everything. So maybe it's a case of that. I'm fighting against the Greeks, and the Greeks by their very nature are quite aggressive. In game, well, I sort of just sort of imagining. I mean, I'm offending everybody with this commentary. Probably not. In fact, you might be finding my anxiety to offensive in itself. It should just be a vicious circle. So yeah, that early attack really put me off, and I've still not got an army to defend myself with. So I hope they don't come back while I attempt to rebuild my economy. I know why they managed it, because they had that extra reinforcement army. They had 2 armies, just started the game with 2 armies, whereas I started with 1. So they just sent one off to do the early attack, see what they could grab. Quite clever, really. And I say, if I had lost that city, it would have been... I probably could have brought the game back, but it would have been quite a struggle. Anyway, so he tried an early rush, that failed. I'm now turtling, I guess you could call it. Turtling and then booming.